think we're on. Hey guys, Other Steve here. I am here to show you the tutorial theater over at the Gross website, which will be something that we're going to be releasing to you guys to play around with pretty soon. It's a neat little thing that you can use to try out new rules and show off different games that you've played and other stuff like that. And it's pretty simple to use. I'm going to be using it today specifically to show you the new vampire rules for characters in Bleeding in the New Year. But the basic idea behind how this system works, you have a little, basically a table, a virtual table over here, and you can go ahead and there will be some preset examples of things that you can load in, tutorials, like we have a basic tutorial over here, and you can also load in your own files. And these tutorial files are just made of, they're markdown files. If you've done anything on like GitHub or something like that, you know what a markdown file is. In fact, let me go ahead and show you an example of what one of these things looks like. There we go, over here. So Markdown file is it's a human readable file format. You have headings using hashtags. So this is the name of the vampire tutorial. This is actually the file I'm going to be showing you guys in a little bit. But each step uses the double hashtag. You have a whole bunch of different commands you can use to go ahead and make the cards move around and do other neat things. And then anything that isn't a command, you can go ahead and type in, and it becomes text that shows up at the bottom. So let me show you basically what this looks like with the basic tutorial, just to show you the first few steps of it. So we go back over, there we go. Let me get back over to that window. So basically I'm gonna load in the default tutorial. In fact, I'm gonna turn the animations off first to show that everything loads in quick. Boom, there we go. I'm gonna turn the animations back on. So up on here, you have a number of different zones. Like you have your hand, you have your movie, you have your opponent's movie, and you have your opponent's hand. And your deck is over there, your graveyard is over there, scores are here and there. And at the bottom, if you scroll on down, you'll see that information. So it's talking about, this is a tutorial for how you learn how to play Graveyard vs. Outer Space. This is going to be our basic tutorial for the game. And if you go ahead and you click on the next button, it goes ahead and does things. Oh, it's talking about choosing titles. First thing that happens is that we need to choose our movie's titles. So it turns the cards upside down. If you hover over a card, it will zoom in and try to make it full screen so you can see what's going on. And you just keep on clicking next and it'll do things. Over here, in this case, it went ahead and created the titles over here. So this one was Premonition, Shot, Calm, and Forbidden. And if you hover over here, the Calm Premonition before the Forbidden Shot. This isn't done automatically. You have to put this into the actual file itself. But you can set that up however you want. And when you go ahead, it starts up the game, deals out the cards. You can do fun stuff any way you want with this. In our case, however, we are going to be going on with the Bleeding in the New Year tutorial, so we're going to see how the new vampire rules work. I'm going to go ahead and refresh the page, and I'm going to turn the animations off so that it loads in quick. I'm going to click on Load Local File, and there's that vampire.md markdown file that I showed you earlier. Boom, and we're all loaded up. Let me turn the animations back on and scroll up. And now what I'm going to go ahead and do is that I'm going to turn my face off up over here, and we're going to zoom in, and we're going to see exactly how this thing does its thing. So bear with me, and up there we go. All right, so let's take a look at what we've got in front of us here. So this tutorial is to demonstrate how the new vampire rules work in a game of Graveyard vs. Outer Space Bleeding in the New Year. So we're starting out with the following cards on the table. This is our movie zone over here. Our characters are in the abandoned building, which gives us popcorn, defense 2. And we also have the cute vampire girl. She's new in Bleeding in the New Year. She has the traits young, female, and vampire. Also, I apologize for how my cursor looks. This is just what OBS is doing to me today. She is defense 2. She's 3 popcorn. Her quote is, "Let me give you a kiss for luck." And you'll see why in a little bit too. And she has 2 abilities, which we're going to get into in just a little bit. But she is also packing heat. She's carrying the pistol. So that gives her an extra 3 defense. And then finally we have the teenage boy desperate to get some. He's young, male, and dumb, and he gets +1 defense for every young female character in the same movie. Since our cute vampire girl is young and female, we've represented that with a +1 token on him like that. And in our hand, down over here, that's this zone here, we've got Dracula, the quintessential Hollywood creature from, this is the Dracula from the director's cut. We have some other Dracula stuff waiting for you in Bleeding in the New Year. And next to him in our hand, we also have But It Was Here just a minute ago, which allows us to discard any one prop from play. We're not going to have too much use for this. I think it's mostly just going to be popcorn fodder at this point. So, our opponents, if we take a look at their movie up over here, they are currently in the sorority house, which is 3 defense, -3 during psycho attacks. Doesn't help us very much. We got the big dumb jock. We've got the co-ed science major, and we've got the bookish girl with no boyfriend. It's anyone's guess what's happening in here. Also notice that our opponent does not have any cards. We're going to use this to our advantage. So, the first thing, let's take a closer look at our cute vampire girl again, because like I said, she has 2 neat things going on for her. The first one, of course, is that she is a vampire, and that gives her this following special ability. And I'm going to try and blow this up on the screen in post so you guys can see it better. Vampire may launch supernatural duels. Instead of killing a victim, the victim gains the trait Ghoul, which is to say they get total defense against vampire attacks is 0. So duels are a new mechanic where 2 characters in different movies face off to the death. The director of the attacking character tips them and indicates who they want the victim to be, and the attack strength is equal to the attacking character's total defense. So in this case, if we were to use her, her defense is 2, but she has a pistol, which is +3, so her total defense would be 5. And the defensive strength of the attack is the intended victim. It would be either the big dumb jock, the co-ed science major, or the bookish girl with no boyfriend. And their total defense, so if they had any props or special abilities or anything like that, plus their location. So in other words, the attacker is taking it to the victim's turf. So and whoever wins the duel survives. The loser is then sent to the graveyard. But for our vampire characters, there's a little twist. Once again, instead of killing their victim, they turn their victim into a ghoul, and ghouls are helpless against vampire attacks. You can see where we're going here? So, if you take a look at Dracula, Dracula's attack is 13. Our opponent's movie is currently at 15. So let's see if we can soften him up a bit with our vampire girl. So the first thing we're going to go ahead and do is that we're going to go ahead and we're going to declare the attack. You tip the character that you want to attack to duel with to the side, you push them forward, and you declare your victim. We are going to go after the big dumb jock. Her total defense, like I said before, is 5 because she has 2 defense plus 3 defense from the pistol. And the big dumb jock, his defense is 3, but he's also at the sorority house. So his total defense in this case is 6. Under normal circumstances, this would mean that our vampire girl has lost, and we would have lost her. She'd end up over here in the graveyard. But let me bring your attention to her other ability. I'm going to try and blow that one up as well. Tip a male in your movie during an attack. The vampire girl gains defense equal to half the male's defense, rounded down, until the end of the attack. So, just like her quote implies, let me give you a kiss for luck, she can nibble on her male cohorts, the counterparts in her movie, to boost her attack for the duration of a single attack. So, over here we have the teenage boy desperate to get some. And notice he has a defense of 3. He is male, so we can do that. But because he has a +1 boost, he's actually total 4 because the vampire girl gave him +1 from his +1 defense for every young female character. So, she gives some and she gets some a little bit, I guess. You could think about it that way. If we were to tip him, he would give her a boost of 2, which would bring her up to a total of 7, which would be more than enough to take down that big dumb jock. So we're going to do exactly that. We're going to go ahead and tip the teenage boy, and she gets +2. So now she's 7. And that means that the big dumb jock loses. But since this is not a regular duel, he doesn't go anywhere. He just ends up a little ghouly. So I indicated that with a zombie emoji on the counter there. You can do that in the system. You can use any Unicode characters for counters. It's a lot of fun. So now that the duel is over, we pull the vampire girl back, and she loses her +2 bonus because the attack is finished. That's what it says on her card. But now, the big dumb jock's defense does not count towards vampire creatures, or vampire attacks of any variety, for that matter. So let's go ahead and let's play our Dracula, because with that -3, we should be able to beat him. So what we're going to do is that I'm going to go ahead and tip the abandoned building, discard, but it was there just a moment ago, and we play Dracula. Notice now that because the Big Dumb Jock's defense isn't counting, Dracula is now 13 against 12, and our attack succeeds. That is the basic idea for how these things work. So, I hope that this gives you an idea of the kinds of synergies you can do. It's basically you use your vampire characters to soften up your opponent's movies so you can sweep in with your vampire creatures. And it gets really awesome with all the new ways to bounce vampire characters and creatures from the graveyard back into your hand. So in any case, I hope that you enjoyed this concept. I can't wait to see what you guys do with it. And as always, keep watching the skies.